So the terrors in my head are making me feel sick. Like all of a sudden my blood pressure drops and I feel weak and I just like it's like I want to fall. And my face gets really flushed and I feel really sick. And they made like I'm at the verge of like crying my eyes out. And one of the women will say, like she'll start using fighting words, like because I was like I'm gonna make a video because me crying isn't funny because I was making fun of how terrorists like sound trying to like falling in love and like after murdering people. They're playing with my face, and how funny it is to hear them like, and I'm like, and I was making fun of them. Like, I know you guys cry like bitches. Like, there's no way the U.S. government is after you guys. And but I'm obviously the victim here. The terrorists talking in my head, who are Egyptian American Muslim, aren't being. Nobody's attacking them with any war weapon. They're talking in my head, um, and they're attacking me with a war weapon and they're talking in my head and no one knows they're doing it, and then on top of the fact that they're abusing me more to get me to stop because the whole all they're trying to do is murder me, like that, like that's the point. They're not, this isn't like, it's just they're like, okay, we'll just get her to stop by murdering her more, and by the time she stops, she'll be like, and we have everything we need, all the records will be cleared and she'll be dead, kind of deal. And anyways, I was getting ready to cry, and I was like, "This isn't for you guys to laugh at." Um, so I kind of went off topic, but anyways, I was like, "This isn't anything for you guys to laugh at," and nonetheless, like I said, um, I was like, "This isn't anything to laugh at," um, and no one knows they're in my head. Like nobody knows they're talking in my fucking head. So the bitches can like leave. They could fuck off. They could get the fuck out of my fucking head. Outside, it sounds gorgeous outside. Beautiful weather. The sun is out. It's warm, not hot. Um, there are kids whose parents aren't being abused by these technologies, running around like living the life, and the birds are chirping and cats are playing and people are walking their dogs, and here I am just losing hair and the bitches, and I'm talking about like this is ridiculous, like get the fuck out of my head. And to them, me saying, hey, me discussing them publicly is going to sentence them to death. And how funny it is for them to continue talking in my fucking head, knowing they'll get sentenced to death if I make it obvious on my medical records and that I've made every fucking attempt. And plus, there are these records that are going to get deposited the minute I fucking die. And they're going to hear the voices, the bitches talking, and they're going to see how often I recorded to make it clear it wasn't anything coming from outside. And then it's going to be obvious that there was all this stretch of time before I died that they had the opportunity to come forward and say, hey, it wasn't us talking in our fucking head. So I'm laughing at the bitches like this is a major, these are not just like your life, these, like in comparison, first degree murder is like, that's nothing. Like the fucking crimes you guys are committing, that's beyond. Like, that is beyond. There's no court for that. I think they're going to investigate you guys the same way. The minute they find you, they're going to drop you like dogs. And, um, and I was laughing because they continued to talk in my head like, okay, whatever. You guys, this is crazy. I'm not going to fucking stop telling people I hear you in my fucking head. And I'm getting ready to cry, and then the bitch wants to say like, hi, you're fucking losing your hair, you ugly bitch, and like shit like that, to see if she can get me to fight her instead of cry in front of everyone, to make everybody feel what I'm going through. And now they're blocking me from crying completely because they're playing with my brain activity. I actually twice already or three times, he's like pushing a button every few, right now, and making me literally black out as I'm making this video. I can feel it. Even if it's like milliseconds, but still nonetheless. They're talking in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want those bitches sentenced to fucking death. Do you hear me? I'm seeking medical attention. I call the cops all the time. I don't do drugs. I'm not just sitting here trying to pretend like I enjoy, like to pretend to work. I'm actually trying to work and they're retarding me in the process. And they're depriving my daughter and they're depriving me and they're trying to make me look violent so I can't get housing, so I can't get so it looks like it's me when it's not, and they want me embarrassed to say I hear them in my head, so I can't get government assistance because they are 100% disabling me. I am disabled. I am in a mode of like I'm disabled. They're abusing me to the point that I'm dizzy or I'm confused or I can't make simple calculations because of the bitches terrorists, they're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head that live in California and they're fucking hiding in houses. They're abusing the fuck out of their victims. I want those bitches sentenced to death. Even though this isn't a direct attack on my kids, they're talking in my head. My kids are being abused and they know damn well they're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. Which means they're abusing kids too. These are fucking psycho whorebags. I want those fucking bitches sentenced to fucking death, you hear me? I'm not chasing a fucking whore. I already know they're talking in my fucking head from a house. I already know I sound like I'm schizophrenic. I already know all this stuff. I'm going to see a doctor. I've never done drugs. I'll never do drugs. I never really like drinking. I never will like drinking. And I will never entertain it for sure now over that. No way in fucking hell. I will not lose this. I'm not losing ground on this situation. If anything, I'm going to gain it. I'm done talking. I want them sentenced to fucking death. I swear to God, I'm done talking. Those bitches will control my muscles in my face, make my head swell. These are all fucking injuries. My hair falling out, these are injuries they're causing my follicles. These are injuries to my organs. My skin is an organ. They are injuring me. They are causing me brain damage. They are depriving me of sleep by playing with my brain activity to stop my body from producing what it needs so my body can start to relax. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want those fucking bitches sentenced to fucking death. They're talking in my head and the fucking whores don't want me crying in front of anyone. They're hurting me and they're fueling me when I'm making these videos so I sound aggressive while I'm discussing them so that those bitches can run in front of court and cry and cry and cry. But these bitches, I swear to God, they watched my friend Bernadette die. They watched my dad die. They're watching me die. They're sitting in a house and they're watching people die. And they're holding it all in they're scared that they're going to get sentenced to death. The tears that they're fucking going to cry are tears of fucking like relief and fear. If they get away with this, they're fucking bitches. I want those fucking whores sentenced to fucking death. I'm sorry. There's no way in fucking hell you'll ever catch me when I'm not. If I am not, okay, in my condo doing this, okay, or where my neighbors hear me screaming and they can pretty much figure out that I'm home by myself like 90% of the day. Although the terrorists talking in my head have been more aggressive when there are people here to make it sound as though I'm talking about like there's something going on in this house. That's what it was. Because they were attacking me, so the bitches are fucking sneaky fucking bitches, dude. My daughter, they don't want her tutor here. And so they wanted me to start talking to make him uncomfortable while he's here so that he'll start to think, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't be there because if Renee's having an episode and assume she thinks that they start to think it's me, her neighbors, and I can't get her to, and the only witness I have is Leah, and, who is she going to side with? They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want those fucking bitches in caskets. You fucking hear me? I want those fucking bitches in caskets. They live in California. I want those fucking hookers in fucking caskets. And he told me that while I'm telling you this to make me angry because he wants it to seem as though they're victims. I'm not fucking chasing a bitch. And I made it very clear. There is no way in fucking hell you will ever catch me, okay, looking for those stupid trash whore bags. I will be somewhere in front of a camera making it very clear. I'll be in front of Albertsons, right in front of the security camera eating. There's a Subway right there. There's chairs right there. I will be anywhere where you see security cameras, or I'll be with family who I know will obviously, there's no way in fucking... And then on top of the fact, those fucking bitches, honest to God, those bitches would never approach me because they're talking in my head and they want to make it seem like it's something happening outside. And the fucking whore bags, why would they be suspects to their own to the crimes they're committing? They want to investigate people because they want to watch their backs, and at the same time they're laundering money and doing all kinds of shit. They're terrorists talking in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists, and they're talking in my head. And then on top of the fact that they identified themselves as Egyptian American Muslims and not as their individual selves. These bitches are the biggest trash cans I've ever fucking heard in my goddamn life. I want those bitches I want them sentenced to fucking death. I want Muslims to know. I want Christians to know. These are individuals that are terrorists. It has nothing to do with religion. That's what they've done. That's what they've said. And I know it's true. If they were or they weren't Christian, on their birth certificates, it says Muslim. And no one can confirm that if they were or they weren't. That's why I'm like, it's just the issue at hand here is that their parents' identities, okay, their birth certificate identifications say they're Muslim. So these whore bags can go turn around and say, no, we're all Muslim. And if we don't have evidence that they're terrorists or they've done anything to us, then they, and the government were to go after them because they're just so fueled that they're just like, these are terrorists, and, and knowing that they can't get all of them at once, okay, unless they bring, and then even then, it's like they want to start a riot knowing that they're, it's like they want to act like this is a war on Muslims. It's not. They're terrorists. That's all there is to it. They're not, Muslims are terrorists, the terrorists are terrorists, and it has nothing to do with Muslims as a whole. But that's the message that they want to send because those bitches are fucking trash. I want them sentenced to fucking death. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking in my head. Okay? And yes, that did make me angry. And yes, I am scared. And yes, I'm not going to go look for them. I don't know which ones they are. There's no way in fucking hell. And then they're talking in my fucking head. Like, how stupid. I'm sorry, because there's so many people out there that are also going through this torture with me, but they are so unaware of what's going on that they don't know how to carry themselves. So to get them the fuck away from us is taking the government much longer because these people aren't falling in line of like explaining, hey, I'm being abused. Instead, they're allowing their emotions to take control of their behavior, and rather than to document everything and make it clear so the government can say, hey, we sent our police officers who we pay for, we're providing their medical, we're paying for their medical expenses, we're housing them, they're going to work, they're getting Social Security, and they're trying the meds, and all of them are saying, hey, nothing's working. And it's kind of, we have enough evidence to assume probable cause. we think that the terrorists or the people that are investigating these individuals, because now it's like they're on the grid, they're also schizophrenic, they're also, nobody's seeing relief, they're also not, they're also, all of them are receiving aid, nobody's getting anywhere. It seems as though these terrorists are after framing people for crimes they're committing, or they have money or something, because they don't know each other, they've never crossed, like, there's gonna be more than enough evidence documented to provide. But these terrorists, like, the level of manipulation, and then they're playing with your actual brain activity. So it's like that part, it's like, it's not even a manipulation of your mind, like you, like, it's not like they're altering what they're saying for your perception to read it that way. They're actually altering your brain activity. So it's just, this is like insanity. I want them sentenced to death. So anyways, like I was saying, there's no way in hell I would chase them. I don't know who they are. Plus, there's a lot of them. It's not just one. I'm not the only one who's hearing them and who's saying the same thing, or saying this. Just people don't know who it is. They're Middle Easterns. They're the majority of Middle Easterns in this country are Egyptian, and then it starts off by Coptic Egyptian Coptic Egyptians, or now are Coptic Egyptian Americans, and then it's Muslim Egyptians, and then it trickles down. So it's the majority, I would assume, are Egyptian terrorists, and then they have their whatever. I'm sure there are Iranians, and there's Afghanistans, and people from every country of the Middle East, or no, I don't know, because Arabs, they self-identify as, Arabs are Arabs. So anyways, whatever. They're all part of this, like, regime, and they want to take over the Middle East because they don't want anybody to know all the crimes they've committed and how they're disguising it. Blah, 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 blah. Not my fucking problem. I don't give a shit. They're talking in my fucking head. And all I'm going to say is he's playing with my head again, so it kind of threw me off. But anyways, where was I going with this? Oh, yeah, they don't, the people in my head, they're the people, the victims. So they don't know who it is. They don't know who it is. They're, like, so lost in the weeds. What was I saying? But there are a lot of them, right? And it's not just me, is what I was saying. And I was saying there are several. So it's not like this is like, oh, I can call the cops and, hey, this is over if this one little group gets sentenced to death or life in prison. Like, their friends are out there, and they're doing the same damn thing, and they're covering each other, and who knows who owes what, and who knows who has what over who, because they're all terrorists. And, like, it's like, well, what happens if, like, you don't have anything, you're using it, everybody's secret, but you don't have, like, we don't have dirt on you, kind of deal. And it's just a bunch of shit. They're a bunch of fucking shit rules. So yeah. So it's not like I can run around and this will be over, like, if I just were stupid enough to, like, run into a fucking whatever. Like, that's not going to solve this problem. And I sat here and I thought it through, like, over and over again. And sometimes I tend to forget because they're playing with my head. So I will repeat this over and over again in my head. It'll feel like the first time sometimes. And it's like I've already come to this conclusion like a million times. But nonetheless, they're talking in my head. And these bitches they're psychotic trash. I want them sentenced to death. They're hurting me. They're hurting my kids. They're hurting me. This is like this right here, where you could see this. Okay, that is chunks, areas where chunks of my hair fell out because of the terrorist talking in my head. And anyways, like I keep saying, I'm I was getting ready to cry. I want everyone to see that how abused I am. I don't want this to be a joke to anybody. I don't want it to be, I don't want these terrorists talking in my head to manipulate the narrative. They're abusing me. They're murdering me. They're talking in my head. They've deprived me of like my body's natural functions to heal itself. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them sentenced to death. Okay, they hit 2 little boys with a car, and they framed Rebecca Grossman for it. They got in her head. They did the same damn thing, except there were, and it's these psycho bitches. Like, the sad part about it is, it's when it gets to that point, these fucking whorebag terrorist women run and say, "Oh my God, we're victims of this crime." And this is where we reside, or this is where we this, or this is, or look at all these people who complained, or whatever they say. They're Egyptian American Muslim terrorists, women. And they'll say, we need to further investigate this. How come nobody knew? Like, why wouldn't the bar let her, why would they let her drive off like that? And they'll cry in front of them. Like, I mean, that's the image they're painting in my head, as far as, like, that's how disgusting they are with me. Like, they'll be as vivid as, like, explaining how disgusting they get to get what they want using these weapons. Or not what they want, but to get behind these weapons so they can get what they want. And it's because they want money, is what she said. Or so all of them say. I want them sentenced to death. They're talking in my head. They're talking in my head. They're hurting me. They're abusing my daughter. They're abusing my daughter and my son. I'm like scared now. Like, every day, all I can think about is like, if I die, what the fuck is my daughter? And they're breaking her heart, like, in front of her face. I have to say this stuff, like, because I'm scared. I'm scared those bitches are gonna get behind this again. And I don't want them to be able to, I don't want them to have the ability to do this again. And so I have to make it clear, like, in front of my daughter and in front of everyone, that I hear them in my head. I'm scared shitless, dude. They're murderers. They're talking in my fucking head. They're murdering me in front of my daughter. I'm heartbroken. My daughter's heartbroken. My daughter's heartbroken. No music lessons because I don't have money. And her dad, and the text to her dad's mind. And I know, and I can tell. But nonetheless, if he loses his mind, I have to call because I have to document it. And I have to blame it on him because he's the person they're using as a tool. And this is the only way for the government. It has to be like tangible evidence, and it has to show that they had to send people out to put their lives in danger with someone who's, and then it's like, and the story goes on and on, so that they can convict these psychos. And then and that's what it's happening with Rebecca Grossman. It's like the government can't come forward and say, we know it wasn't her. And so it's like she's just sitting there, like, and they're fighting on her behalf, but it's like behind closed doors. Like, people don't see this what they're doing here, because there are contracts between countries because of this weapon being a national security measure that everyone can use and see, like, so that, hey, if something gets stolen or something happens, they can present it in front of the world court, which happens to be anyone who had, like, to say, hey, look, at our records look a little funny, or these records look a little funny, or our money is kind of missing, or whatever the case is. And it's like, and then it's like, it's unanimous, and there's like no disputes there. So, and then on top of the safety, and then there are terrorists using it. So of course, it's like, well, we know there's something suspicious going on. What happens if everyone knows, like, this is just a small segment and, whatever. Like, And are we sure this is secure? Are we sure? Because we also have kids. We're all like, and I keep saying these bitches they'll play with my brain activity so I can't move forward in my life. So I can't move forward in my life. So I can't produce anything. To those who to the people that put that as like top of their priority list, thank you. I love you guys for not letting these bitches go. I want them sentenced to death. So, like I was saying, it's not like I'm gonna run around chasing these bitches down, trying to hurt any of them. This is if the government is struggling to get a good grip on making sure they get convicted and they have all the evidence necessary to convict them, then what is my ass gonna do? Just put myself in prison and allow them to use me like some kind of a fucking tool talking to my fucking head till they get everything they want, and then I want to hang myself because everyone I love and everything just crumbled in front of my very eyes? Like, no way. I want them sentenced to death. All I want to do is explain that I hear them in my head. If they got a problem with that, they can take me to court. And if they take me to court, it's going to be public hearing, and there's no way in fucking hell I'm going to have it any other way. And in that case, and then I wanted to produce enough, questions and probable cause, being that I'm being investigated. I'm being investigated, but they're not conducting an investigation. They're just going down that that protocol of okay, this is what we have to say to use these weapons. So they're investigating me, but they're not actually conducting one. They're trafficking me with this weapon. And so yeah, I'm done with that bullshit. They're hurting me. They're abusing me and my daughter. They're abusing the fuck out of me and my daughter. I want them sentenced to death. You hear me? And my son. My son seems like he's doing a little better than us, but the terrorist talking in my head, look at Rebecca. If God willing this comes out, and then it's well, look at Rebecca Grossman. Look where she was, and now look where she is. So it's I can't even say that my son is, well, at least he's doing well in school, and it didn't get to him, because I don't trust these terrorists at all. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They play with my emotions. Well, what if I cry all the time. I have this going on, and I didn't mean to do it, but they've done it so many times. My friend Bernadette died. They murdered her. They murdered my dad. They murdered Daniel Atkins, the girl that was with him. They murdered Mark and Jacob Skinner. So it's these bitches are fucking straight trash, dude. And they're why don't you me and they say things, and it's and I'm in a place of where I'm being deprived, and it's they almost want to drag these emotions out of me to make me so desperate to want to do things that I wouldn't do, but they want to deprive me to that depth so that it clouds my thinking. But the truth is, I'm going to die one way or the other. There's no way in fucking hell. I want them anywhere fucking near me unless it's in front of a judge. And for the innocent Egyptian American Muslims, I love them to death. I just, with these terrorists doing what they're doing, I don't feel comfortable at all. And I actually want to make it very clear. I don't, if they have a problem with what I'm saying, then to take me to court. Take me to court. I have no problem going to court. But I'm not going to sit here and act and then, they can say I'm crazy in front of everyone. That's fine. I'm not lying about hearing voices in my head. I have cops that have from the beginning, when I thought it was my neighbors, or I thought it was my mom talking shit about me, or when um, I thought it was, my ex cheating on me. Like, it was like there was a time of events, like, where it's like, there's no way this is like her pretending to be schizophrenic to get away with talking about Egyptian American Muslims. Like, this was like a course of time where I have accused people, and it was because of the voices I'm hearing in my head. It just happens. It just so happened that these bitches, they were like, they're trying to isolate me from my Coptic Orthodox group. So they were saying they're Coptic Orthodox. And then it was like, okay, we can't keep saying that because, or whatever they say, right? Because, like, what if Renee calls the cops on them and continues to call the cops on them, right? And then we tell her, like, we're not all of the Muslims, so then she'll be too embarrassed to discuss it because she's afraid that innocent Muslims, and she'll stand for it, and she'll, like, they wanted to, like, play with this, like, bullshit. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists, and thank God they were so brutally honest. I want them sentenced to fucking death. They're talking in my fucking head. They're making me want to cry uncontrollably. They're playing with my body's, like, natural functions, so my body doesn't heal like the way it would, so my hair doesn't grow back. That's why I keep saying they're making my head swell so that my hair doesn't grow back in, or that the follicles, they're causing injuries so they don't heal back properly. I want those bitches sentenced to fucking death. You hear me? So that I look like a drug addict in front of everybody while they look innocent and well put together and educated and whatever the fuck. Like, I did drugs, and they're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them sentenced to fucking death. I want them sentenced to fucking death. Yeah. So I'm making it clear. There's no way in fucking hell I'm gonna cry and let these bitches laugh while I'm crying, and the men telling them, like, haha, look at that bitch cry while you guys are getting to spend all your, like, whatever money and there's no way in fucking hell I'm letting these bitches get away with shit. I want them sentenced to fucking death. You hear me? Yeah. Yeah. So you'll be seeing me cry a lot in my videos. And scream and cry and scream and cry and scream and cry. And complain because they're attacking me all day long. So I took the time that I would have taken to clean, which is another thing because my life is at stake here. So, I mean, I'm not going to be the tidiest. I'm not there because I'm prioritizing my life a little differently based on the circumstances, for those of you who understand. So, yeah. I want these bitches sentenced to death, okay? Please don't let them go. I know you guys are. I know. I love my government. I love the United States government. I love you, Beyonce. I've said it so many times. Oh my freaking goodness. You are one of the most gorgeous human beings, I swear. These terrorists in my head they are racist. They don't speak for all of us. I'm so sorry. They're racist. They're sick in the head, like, on behalf of my Egyptians in my country, they're not like this, and I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know if you know, but just for me, they don't speak on behalf of all of us, and I love you to death, and thank you so much for fighting for us. I want them sentenced to death. I want them sentenced to death as much as you do, and for everyone in Hollywood, I swear, I want them sentenced to death. There absolutely nothing that they can do to mess up these records. I'm gonna make them so clear for you guys, so you guys can convict them. All the hard work and like blaming each other and like all the things, and then putting yourselves in front of all these people, to get these terrorists to stop. And then they just said, well, that's safety, because if someone, then they'll find out who did it. They're terrorists talking in my head. I want Egyptian. They're so sick. Um, I want them sentenced to death. That's all there is to it. They're talking in my head. There are several of them. So even if one of them taught was like, let's say I was actually hearing it in my hearing, I heard one of them. They could have got away with it if the others, the other voices I heard were really coming from outside. So at least one of them, like, there's several of them talking in my head. Like, and they can't rat each other out, like, or they won't. I mean, it's like, they're not gonna all rat. They're not gonna rat each other out. They're all talking in my head. Anyways, sorry. They're playing with my lips. They just did that. They play with my facial expressions all the time, force words out of my mouth. There was a gentleman I was just listening to, or I was reading what he wrote, and he was asking for help, saying the same thing. Like, they're burning me from head to toe. They're torturing me, and they're they're depriving me. They're doing this. They're doing that. They've done it to my kids. They're hurting my kids. They're this. Same thing I'm saying. Um, yeah. So. Oh, and yeah, I told you the Egyptian American part, right? Yeah. So, yeah, yeah, I covered all of it. I want them sentenced to death. That's all there is to it. All right. Have a great day. Hopefully, for who can, and I'm gonna do my best to continue to try to move forward, as slow or as fast, as quickly as I can. But if if I'm moving slow, then I'm moving slow. But there's no way in fucking hell I'm ruining these records. I want those terrorists sentenced to fucking death, and if I'm lying, I want them to take forward the records. Like, this is not a fucking game to me while I'm here. Because I want to look them dead in their fucking faces while they test me to see if I hear voices in my head, so I can turn around and say I want all these bitches sentenced to fucking death. Anyways, I gotta go. Alright, have a great day.